enthusiast. So yeah, I'm going to be telling you a little bit about the traditional drinking chocolate, the way we have it in Mexico. And yeah, I'm co-founder of La Rifa Chocolateria in Mexico City. We are a small project that makes chocolate from the bean. We use Mexican cacao, and we make chocolate bars and we make chocolate drinks. We try to work with different cacao farmers, with different varieties, with different regions, to try to understand the different flavors in cacao, the different ways of harvesting, the different agricultural practices in the cacao plantations, and how these agricultural practices also have a direct impact on the final product, on the chocolate, on the flavor notes that we get in every chocolate bar. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the Mexican traditional way of having chocolate. If you have any questions, please let us know. We're going to make it very, very like informal and personal. So if you have questions, let us know. Okay, let me just share my screen. Can I share my screen? Okay. Compartir. Okay. Okay, I cannot do two things in one same time, so please do not feel like I'm forgetting about you guys. I'm just trying to think in Spanish, in English, but it's going to be fun. Okay. Muy bien. Okay, guys, so as you probably don't know, in Mexico, we drink chocolate. But before we start talking about the chocolate and the way it's drank, we need to talk about where the cacao comes from. So the origin of cacao is this region called Mesoamerica. Mesoamerica, it's a region that starts from the middle part of Mexico. Sorry. From the middle part of Mexico and goes all the way down to Central America. In this area, many different foods, spices, flowers, trees developed. And these elements are still part of our cooking nowadays. And we can see here that we are looking at the south part of Mexico. So we have Chiapas and Tabasco as the two of the main cacao producing states in Mexico. And there's a lot of culture surrounding the cacao in this area, in these states. We can see that cacao was a very, very important seed, a very important bean in our culture in the pre-Hispanic era. Many different, very important cities like Teotihuacan or Cacaxtla, which are located in the middle part of Mexico, very, very far from the cacao plantations in the south. They were brought some cacao seeds so they could exchange it. Cacao was a currency in Mexico, and you could trade many different things. You could trade rabbits, you could trade fabrics for some cacao beans. That's how important cacao was for us. And it was such an important seed that you had to walk very, very long distances from Chiapas or Tabasco or Oaxaca to get the cacao into the cities. Cacaxtla and Teotihuacan were two very, very important cities in the center of Mexico. And you could see that it was a very, very important thing. You can see here that we had traditional markets where the economic of the pre-Hispanic times were developed, and cacao was also traded there. We can also see that there have been founded some murals and some pre-Hispanic paintings where people were representing the cacao drinks. So cacao drinks were made with just cacao and water, which is also a very, very important thing to say. In Mexico, the drinking chocolate is water-based, not milk. And traditionally, cacao drinks were very, very, very bitter because we didn't add any sugar. What we added firstly were some spices or some flowers that people could find on the region that they were living in. So by having like many different regions in the South that have different spices and different flowers and different cacaos too, we can also find many different cacao drinks. Nowadays, these traditional cacao drinks are still being drank in these communities. We have many different traditional drinks like pozol, like tejate, tascalate, bopu, that are like the traditional recipes that have been passing from generation to generation to generation. And all of these traditional drinks have two things in common. One is that, of course, they are all made with cacao and with water, but also a lot of them use corn because corn is a fundamental part of our feeding system. Corn and cacao, those are very, very important elements in the traditional drinks. And then we have the conquest. When the Spanish people came to Mexico, the Mexicas thought they were gods. So they offered them the very, very, very exclusive drink that they only offered to the high elites of the society, like the Tlatoanis or the kings or the warriors, because as you know, chocolate gives you a lot of energy. So these cacao drinks were only meant to be drank by the high societies, you know, because it was very, very hard to get the cacao beans into the cities. This drink was only meant to be drank by specific people in the society. That's why when the Spanish came and the Mexicas thought they were gods, they were offered this cacao drink. And remember, these people came very, very tired of walking and very, very malnourished. So when they had this drink and they saw that it was very, very bitter, but also it gave them the energy and the strength to keep going, they saw that it had a lot of potential. I'm going to open a small parenthesis to show you this map of the different areas where you can find cacao in Mexico. As I was telling you, the cacao grows in the south part of Mexico, the part where Mesoamerica started. So Chiapas, Tabasco, Oaxaca, they all have this incredible tropical weather that is the perfect weather for the cacao to grow, because cacao needs a very, very humid weather and a very, very rich soil to grow. Normally, we find cacao in the traditional agroforestry systems that were being used before. So in this kind of plantations, we can find many different fruits and trees and animals and flowers that all live together in one same ecosystem. So this way, we can find that all the flavors of the earth, all the flavors of the trees or the flowers, they have a direct impact on the cacao pod and on the cacao beans. So I'm going to just close the parentheses to talk about the importance of the cacao plantations and the agricultural processes that the cacao goes through. But well, going back to the Spanish, after they tasted the cacao drink, they took it to Spain so they could add sugar because it was very, very intense and very, very bitter for them. And that's when they started like adding the sugar, adding milk. And once again, it was very, very, very selected, the people that was going to be drinking that chocolate. And I just wanted to show you that this was a small text of one of the priest chronicles that were made during the Spanish conquest, where the priests were very, very interested about this particular drink that was being drank everywhere in the markets. It was being drank in, it was being used as a coin. And he says that this drink, well, I'm going to translate it. This drink looked more like a drink for pigs more than humans. I was in this country for over a year and I never wanted to try it. Every time I passed through any like store, they offered me a drink of chocolate, a chocolate drink, sorry. And they were surprised when I didn't accept it, and they ended up leaving and laughing. But then when they had the wine shortage, I didn't want to drink water all the time, so I drank the chocolate drink. The flavor is bitter, but it refreshes your body. It doesn't get you drunk, and according to the Indians of this country, this is the best and most expensive merchandise. So you can see that even though cacao was meant to be drank for just the kings and the Tlatoanis, there was something so special about this seed that everybody wanted to try it. And they took it to Spain so they could like offer them to the royalty, to the kings and the priests also. But they started adding milk and they started adding sugar, and that's when the idea of hot chocolate was built. And here in La Rifa, what we do is that we get the cacao from Chiapas and Tabasco mostly. We roast the cacao, we grind it in a mill, and we get our chocolate drinks. So this is like a very, very general idea of how we drink chocolate in Mexico. My presentation didn't help me a lot. I wanted to show you a little bit of the whole process, but I'm going to stop sharing my screen and asking you, do you have like any questions, guys?
That's a good question. Okay, go ahead, Priyanka.
Can I, Miss Balu?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. My question is to the presenter who did the presentation a few minutes ago. I'm so sorry I couldn't get her name.
Hi, I'm Monica. Nice to meet you,
Monica.
Priyanka.
Hello, Monica. Yeah. Same here, Monica. I'm actually curious to know the ceremonial cacao which is being prepared. What sort of the understanding you have from the Mexican people and its history about the ceremonial cacao? Is that really different from the cacao variants what we prepare, or is it the same but being consumed in a very particular fashion?
Well, the cacao ceremonies and the ceremonial cacao, it's a very, very interesting thing. Here in Mexico, there are some people that actually call themselves like cacao priests. And what they do is that they prepare this cacao drink, and you are supposed to get a connection between all the elements that grow in the field, in the plantation, into the cacao. So by having this cacao drink that is connected, the cacao tree is connected in the cacao plantation with the soil, with the farmers, that to have a cacao plantation involves a lot of work, a lot of handwork, a lot of passion. So a lot of the energy that the cacao farmer puts into the cacao tree, into the cacao pods, into the cacao beans, is also part of the cacao, the ceremonial cacao drink that you get. Traditionally, if you have just a cacao drink, you will feel energized and you will get this sense of wellness. But if you add other elements, such as having yourself concentrated and being guided guided with someone who knows how to approach certain level of consciousness, where you can connect your body and your soul with the surroundings through this drink, I think that's like the most important elements of the ceremonial cacao. And something that I've heard that is really, really important also is where the cacao that you're drinking comes from. Because it's not the same thing if you have this cacao that comes in bulk in this big amounts where it grows in who knows what conditions. It's not going to be the same cacao flavor, quality, etc., than a cacao that is grown in a natural environment, in a sustainable environment, you know, where you are also preserving the biodiversity of your region, but also you are adding like some nutrients, some natural nutrients to your soil, which is going to be reflected in your, not just your cacao trees, but also your fruit trees or your flowers or the spices, or even the animals that are going to be attracted to the plantation. You're going to see that it's all part of an ecosystem, and every element, the animals, the flowers, the fruits, are going to have this crazy, crazy flavor on the drink that you're having. Even though it's just cacao and nothing else, you will get crazy, amazing notes, or even the smoky notes from the washed cacao that we were talking about. I think that's very, very an interesting thing.
Thank you so much, Miss Monica. You were very generous and very elaborately explained on that. I'm very much happy. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Over
much,
to you,
Priyanka.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, this is Balu just joining the.
Hi.
How are you? Nice to see
How
you.
are you?
Hello,
So nice to see you.
hello, Mr. Balu. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Nice knowing you. Nice meeting you, Priyanka. All right. And here,
Also, it
Bonnie.
looks like we have
From
Rayed joining.
Okay.
If he wants to turn on the
Yes.
camera and say hello.
Hello, Teresa.
Hi, Mr. Balu. Good morning.
Just recovering from the Christmas hangover.
Good morning.
Hi.
Oh, Raina is here. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I'll continue. I mean, I didn't want to.
Monica, were you finished with what you wanted to share about the Mexican drinking chocolate?
Yeah, I just wanted to add one last thing. Regarding the different post-harvest processes that the cacao goes through, I just wanted to point that in Mexico, the traditional process of cacao is washing the cacao. As I was just telling Bone at the beginning of this session, there are just two different processes: fermentation or washing the cacao. I'm very sure we all know about fermentation and the 7 days and the fermentation boxes and whatever, but I'm going to talk about washing the cacao just for the ones that weren't here before. In Mexico, what people do is that after the cacao is cut and we take out all the mucilagos and the beans together, we wash them. We wash them in the river and we just let it dry. This way, the mucilagos never goes inside of the bean. It never passes through this fermentation process. And what happens is that we end up having a very, very smoky, plain, dark flavor, which is the traditional flavor of the Mexican chocolate. And as probably Teresa can also agree with me, this is a very, very different flavor than the hot chocolate that we are normally get in any coffee shop or whatever, which have this acidity note You know what I mean? But in the washed cacao, in the traditional Mexican flavors, the cacao is like the main element, but certain notes of cinnamon, of chile, of maybe piloncillo or sugar, um, they just make the perfect combination for this crazy childhood memories where you all get together with your families and you got like your hot chocolate, your hot water chocolate, and you were just with your family. And every time I drink, I love fermented chocolate. I love fermented cacaos, and I love the crazy flavor notes that you can get. And I think it's crazy that it's part of the ecosystem where the cacao grows. But being immersed in the Mexican culture and being able to try different cacao drinks and having this constant like washed cacao flavor for me is like the most amazing thing. And I think it's crazy amazing that we can all be part of experiencing that cacao has many different faces, many different flavors, and can be transformed into many different final chocolates. So I think that's what I wanted to close my presentation with. I think chocolate is amazing, and I think to be able to drink nowadays something that it's like a living tradition from the pre-Hispanic societies, it's just a great treasure nowadays.
Monica, this is Balu. I have two
Hi,
questions. Should I ask?
please.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Okay.
No, please ask me.
Should I ask the question now or at the end? I don't know what the.
No, you can ask him now.
Yeah.
Now we are
Two questions. One, when we first visited Mexico, when we learned about that the drinking cacao in Mexico and
Yeah.
um, the labrador beans, it was kind of eye-opening experience for me. I have heard about, I have read about it, but really seeing that in person, walking to different booths in Mexico exhibition and drinking all those chocolate, it was really a nice experience. Now, the right now the craft chocolate industry is looking for new opportunities. When
Yeah.
I really realized that, just like Europeans took the chocolate and then made beans, cocoa beans into Europe and made chocolate several hundred years ago, I think maybe
Mhm.
this is a good time to go and take the drinking chocolate, especially given the health benefits of the Labrador chocolate and the drinking chocolate. There will be a good reception all over the world, I believe. So uh, we should find out, I mean, how do we bring that, expose that drinking chocolate benefits and the whole concept to the rest of the world.
Yeah.
So when we do that, what is the business model that right now we need to make sure that in Mexico itself, I mean, we popularize that? What is
Mhm.
the business model that will work? Like most of the when I talk to the people and different owners in the booth, is well, we do everything by ourselves. I mean, we have employees. I mean, we employ people. Really, they are not ready for any automation. They are happy with the way they are producing their nibs. They are doing it. Do you see that things might change in Mexico? That people will be start making the ingredients and making a ready mix and sell it. More people will be interested in the business and making this more popular. And then that the extension of that should be, what business model will work when we try to bring that concept
Yeah.
globally.
Well, I think, you know what, for us, when we first started La Rifa, we started with the idea of just making chocolate bars, But the first time we introduced the chocolate that we had made to Danielle's grandma, she was like, "What? This is not chocolate. The chocolate for me is a mug with chocolate." So for us, it was otherwise. Everybody in Mexico had the idea of, okay, let's go get chocolate, let's go get something to drink.
Oh,
So I think that in this case, in this particular case, we should do it in the opposite way. It's very, very important to educate people about other different ways of consuming cacao. Because I think right now it's a very, very serious matter to be thinking about all the candy chocolate that is running the industry, you know? All the candy chocolate that the kids or the teenagers are understanding as chocolate is everything but chocolate. Is extra cacao butter, extra soy lecithin, extra unpronounceable ingredients that we are putting into our bodies. And I think that we should take this opportunity, this COVID-19 opportunity, to make people ask questions, ask themselves the question like, what am I eating? What am I putting inside of my body that is going to help me face any disease, any, you know? So educating people, starting from the question, what am I putting into my, what am I eating every day? What are my food habits? That's going to be a very, very important place to start. So by educating people and trying to teach them like, hey, you know what? This chocolate bar that you are eating, you can also be drinking it. And if you get very, very crazy of drinking too much coffee in the mornings, maybe you can switch it to something else, to something that is going to be healthy for you, that is going to help you like focus on the things that you have to do in the mornings and whatever. But I think that everything is based on educating our consumers, educating them to understand that cacao has crazy, amazing flavors that are not just able to be presented in a chocolate bar, but also that you can present them in a chocolate drink. And probably sometimes it's going to be kind of hard because a lot of people might say like, what? A chocolate is for to eat it in bites, you know, to eat it in chunks or something, in a pastry, in a cake, in an ice cream. But in a drink, why would I want a chocolate drink? Educating people and let them understand that the chocolate drinks were the first step for the chocolate industry. You know what I mean? If we hadn't like domesticated the flavor of cacao beans, by understanding them, by exploring new limits in the traditional drinks, we wouldn't have the chocolate bars. We wouldn't have cocoa powder or cacao butter. But understanding where the final chocolate that we drink comes from and all the steps that it had to take to become a chocolate bar, we can help people to be more educated of new ways of consuming like living elements on the earth. Being reconnected with the earth, it's going to be our biggest strength to overcome new diseases, to be healthier. You know what I mean?
You know, I mean, given that situation, being in Mexico, you and Reina, they are the right people, in my opinion, to really take this concept and take it to the next level. Just like, I mean, if somebody focuses as their main theme, see, like most of the people that drinking chocolate means, again, is the chocolate powder mixed with all this junk, and then you drink with milk. That's not the drinking chocolate we are talking about. It's a true, authentic, the original formula of Mexican drinking chocolate. You know, both you and Reina, they have you have a lot of experience, the whole history experience with respect to the drinking Mexican drinking chocolate. If one of you take a lead role and say, I'm going to take that as a business theme for my business, bring this to the rest of the world, drinking chocolate from Mexico, that'll be a good beginning. And that's
I
not,
think,
I mean, most of the people don't know about much about the real, I mean, the Mexican drinking chocolate.
yeah. And it's crazy. I think there's a lot of people asking about drinking chocolate, and for me that's crazy, super interesting. You know, when we first started, nobody was like thinking about drinking chocolate. And of course, there was like all these communities and all in the country, in Chiapas, Tabasco, Oaxaca. Of course, the culture of drinking chocolate was much more like attached to people. But I think the big problem of the cities is that we are super disconnected from the country, from our roots. So that's why in Mexico City, it was very, very hard for people to understand that chocolate was a drink too, you know? And I think that, as you're saying, it's very, very important to take an advantage of this, like the impact that drinking chocolate is having. So we should like start talking even more about the traditional drinks and the traditional way of seeing chocolate, and helping also the cacao farmers to be able to keep working on their lands, keep the income that they have in the cacao plantations. It's important to start making the effort of buying more cacao, consuming more cacao, and exploring different ways of consuming cacao.
I think we will come back and visit you on that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
There are some people joined, Rayat and Giselle. Do you want to unmute and introduce yourselves, please?
Hi, Angel. Good morning.
You're driving.
Yes, I'm driving. I'll be careful. I cannot join. But I would like to ask about hot chocolate, okay?
No,
Because
first
I
tell
have,
me about yourself. Rayat, first introduce yourself and then ask the question.
okay. I'm I'm from Saudi Arabia. The first chocolate maker here in Saudi Arabia, been to Bar. I don't know what can I say about myself, because when I start this business or this concept, which is it's not available, or we don't have plantation cacao, or not in our root or culture, the cacao. All our experience about chocolate, which is the finest, it came from Europe, until I try to educate myself about cacao, fine cacao. Then I met Andel and Mrs. Andel and Palu, and they support me to make more chocolate and announce the business or the bean to bar to my community, local community. My question is about hot chocolate, which is here in Saudi, we usually make the chocolate from powder. We don't know how to make the real Mexican or real Mayan chocolate. Until I educate myself about hot chocolate. So we make now one of the rare hot chocolate in Saudi, because we use the date sugar, which is from our culture. I try to make some merge between culture, our local culture, and other culture, such as Mexican, South American in general, European, American. But how to educate the people? I listen to the meeting many times. They say educate people, educate people. How to educate them? Because not the other people, it's not, they doesn't have same my impression about chocolate, or they aren't interested in chocolate. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it's a struggle. I won't say it's a piece of cake. I think educating people, it's very, very, very difficult in every way, you know, not just cacao. But I think we should take advantage of the situation of the people asking, what am I eating? What am I drinking right now? So I think I don't have the final answer, but I just think in my personal experience, by sharing with other people that have the curiosity or the interest of trying something out of their comfort zone, I think those kind of people are the ones that can change many different minds, you know, the curious ones.
Yeah, because when we're talking about, for example, the dark chocolate,
Mm-hmm.
they think it's bitter, it's very without sugar, even because they doesn't know about the real flavor. We do in bean to bar, we don't use extraction or other fake, for example, colored or flavor. So we have to be stick with natural flavors, such as color or taste. So it's from here in Saudi Arabia, it's very difficult to teach people how to eat chocolate even, because they think the chocolate as rice. So they
Okay.
doesn't care. It just piece of sweet. But from my side, I established a blogger, Arabic blogger about chocolate, how to eat chocolate, how to start learn about chocolate, the mysteries about the chocolate, which is it's totally different of what we had or what we know in the
Mhm.
past. This is very thing. Other things, it's people to pull the people from the comfort zone. It's not easy because they think it's just a trend. Making chocolate, it's just a trend. It's not consistency. There is no consistency with making chocolate.
Mhm.
So I would like to learn some of other experience from different countries, different people, about how they educate the local community. Is there
Uh,
any trick or ways
Sorry to
to make?
interrupt, Mr. Raid. Can I pitch in and talk?
Yes,
Yes.
please do.
Okay. As Ms. Monica rightly said, we need to find some or the other way to educate people. So we've been in the industry of this bean to bar. I come from Bangalore, that is India, where chocolate is not at all the native product of India. And when I'm preparing the chocolate, especially the dark, and we are the exclusive manufacturers of the dark chocolates. We don't even prepare the milk and white because for us, milk and white are not considered as a chocolate at all. So it took, Mr. Right, it took us around 3 years to be patient enough in our industry to educate people, our customers, and say that this is the real definition of chocolate and this is how you have to eat or drink. And recently, from next 1 year, like fourth year, we are able to see that customers are coming back to us and clients are giving us a
Mhm.
genuine review because they are getting educated on that part. So you need to be patient enough and keep smiling. One or the other day, they definitely will understand what a best and pure product you're preparing and which is exactly going hand in hand with your health. So that is very important.
I will tell you something. My mother always she said to me, just add a little more sugar to your chocolate. So the people they will love it, because so when Mr. And Mrs. Andel introduced me to Shadel from Grenada, for example, I love the bean from Grenada, which is dark
Mhm.
100%. I feel the taste. Even the people,
Mhm.
other people, it's the people embracing me because it sold out in 2 weeks. The 100 dark, because also they say the taste of chocolate is different. Not because I what's it? So other chocolate. My mom always
Now, I
advised me.
understood your situation, Mr. Raid. You heard it from your mother, but we hear it from many of our clients. They come with a suggestion saying that you should start doing milk and white also because you can stand up and increase your capability and expand your business expansions in a broader way. But I said, let me go steady and organic growth, but I am going to do only the dark chocolates. That way, especially the bean to one. So that is how we
Yeah,
need to be. Yeah, exactly.
for
And
example,
Monica is taken us to a very grand way by a very detailed explanations. I'm really overwhelmed by that. Over to you, Monica.
Thank you so much, Priyanka. Yeah, I think education is a complex subject, but this kind of networkings, this kinds of virtual sessions of people interested in chocolate, in cacao, are, I think, the perfect tool for educate people. I know cacao, the availability of traditional organic drinks or cacao beans or actual cacao bars sometimes is very, very difficult to get to certain people. But I think the curious people, the Facebook communities, this kind of webinars are also very, very important to start asking the question where the cacao that we are eating or drinking comes from, but also to be able to explore different ways of consuming cacao. I think you should reach to many, many other communities in Facebook and private groups. I think that's where you can find a lot of feedback from your peers and also the consumers, and you can also understand what the society wants in the end. But it also has to do with how do you want to conduct your business. You know, sometimes, as Priyanka was saying, there's a lot of people asking us, like, why haven't you made white chocolate or milk chocolate? And it's like, you know what, I'm going to stick with the traditional things that I know, and I'm going to start like to educate people and to make people try at least the different chocolates, not the traditional way of candy industry has taught us to have the chocolate.
Can I ask Bon and Reina and Giselle and Elder to introduce themselves, because they are keeping quiet? We just give them a chance to introduce what they do and where they are from, please.
No, I love your conversation. And actually, I have a question to Ma'am Monica with regards to the with regards to the intents you told a while ago. You're introducing about the tradition of the Mexico, about the intents, which is the bitterness. So my question is that is there any related thing that the chocolate become bitter because of not being fermented, or just because you want it in traditional way?
You know what? Before the Spanish came in Mexico, we didn't have sugar. So we were used to drink the bitter chocolate. And we didn't know fermentation either. So the traditional way was to wash the cacao. So the traditional drinks are made with washed cacao only, but because that was the way that we understood cacao. Cacao was just a very, very bitter, smoky smoke seed. So that's the conception that the Mexican culture has of cacao. And yeah, when we add sugar, or not sugar, sorry, any other ingredients like honey, like chile, just to even out the bitter flavor, and maybe add like traditional roots, traditional spices, or endemic flowers or spices, or wherever you are in any particular region. If you have cinnamon, maybe you can add cinnamon to even the bitterness of your chocolate. And that's why we try to play with other elements in the traditional recipes to even out the flavor of the intensity of the cacao.
Okay, I got it.
Okay, Reina, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you. Hi, my name is Reina. I'm making bean to bar chocolate. I'm making all kind of bonbons, all kind of candies with chocolate. Always keeping in mind the health of the chocolate. So I'm using like a coconut sugar. I'm using stevia. I'm using honey. I am using brown sugar, and I love to make chocolate with cocoa beans, with lavado cocoa beans. Why? Well, not all the chocolate I make is from lavado beans. I use fermented beans as well, but I believe these lavado beans are very alkaline. So any alkaline food you take is good for your health. That's the reason I use it. It gets very good flavors, aromas, and it's very, very dark, even if you don't have fermented it, okay? So people loves my chocolate, even though a lot of chefs or chocolatiers say guacala to my lavado beans chocolate, people loves it. When I give them tastes, they say, wow, it's very good. So that's the way I'm educating my consumers, giving them tests. Here in Tabasco, it's very hot. So it's not very nice to drink hot chocolate. So we drink it with ice. I give them the chocolate with frapped ice. So they are happy with my chocolate. And that's it. And I think the historic book says that the pre-Hispanic cultures use honey to make chocolate. No sugar as the Spanish came with it, but honey, flowers, sweet flowers to make the mix of the chocolate in order to taste sweeter. Okay, so I'm very happy making my chocolate. I have a lot of plans to do. This year is this year was very slow, so with a lot of time to make plans and start developing those plans. Thank you, Andal. I'm happy to be here.
Giselle, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Giselle. I live in Trinidad and Tobago. I just recently started working with chocolate this just like at the beginning of this year. I have a different perspective because I actually started off on pastry and chocolate tearing. That's where I started, and I worked in different places, and then I kind of developed my own style, and I wanted to start making chocolate for like exactly what I what vein of pastries I wanted to do. I try to do like things that are like low sugar, not incredibly sweet. I like to make the chocolate as pure as possible. So if I were to make chocolate mousse, for example, I don't try to put a lot of cream in it. So you taste more of the natural cocoa flavors from the roasting process. So I am really like very blessed because Trinidad has a lot of cocoa and we are accustomed drinking cocoa as well. And we do drink it where you can add sugar to it after you boiled it in hot water a little bit. So that's more of our traditional way of drinking. But over the years, it's gotten, I guess, because like chocolate that comes in, like the Hershey's and the Cadbury, is cheaper. A lot of people have more gone towards that than, let's say, the more traditional chocolate makers here. Yeah, so I don't have any questions. I'm
Thank you,
really
Giselle.
listening right now.
Elder, do
Yeah,
you
we're
want
glad you're here.
Elder, do you want to introduce yourself? And then Mauricio joining. So once Elder, then we can ask Mauricio to introduce. Elder Cruz or Mauricio, one of you, can you introduce yourself? Okay, I think Teresa, you want?
Yeah, it says I invited them both to come on video, and they sent a message back saying they would come later.
Okay.
Just one thing I thought, if anybody would like to connect with each other, there is the chat feature, and you can put your contact information in there if you would like. And let me see, did everybody that would like to share who they are and what they do get a chance?
Yeah, definitely. I would definitely would like to connect with Monica. If you could, I mean, get in touch or be in touch with over the WhatsApp, and even Andal Balu, and even you, Miss Teresa, and whoever have joined generously, please share your numbers to be in touch with WhatsApp.
Yeah, that would be
Okay,
great,
very
Priyanka.
good.
I would love
And-
to connect with you.
So sweet.
Yeah.
I
And I
could
just
share
want
my
to let
business
everybody know, we're
Even
talking
I,
with
Ma'am
Monica
I
and
want to
Larifa
connect
about,
also. Ma'am
Monica
Monica and
and
Ma'am
Larifa
Teresa, I
are
want
going to be
to
doing,
connect also.
Oh, sorry. I'm going to write
okay, very
my
good.
contact so we can all in the chat, so we can all like talk there too. I'm gonna send you my email, guys.
Yes.
Yeah, it's better.
And
Especially in my
Monica
case,
will
I want to
probably,
ask a
I
lot of
think,
questions.
yes. I believe in the future, Monica and Larifa are going to be doing a webinar
Yeah.
with us. It's probably a 2-hour webinar in the future. I think in February, Mrs. Balu, is that when we scheduled?
I think
February or
March, but
of 2021. She's
Yeah.
going to be doing a webinar as part of our Empowering Chocopreneurs webinar series. So you'll get a chance to hear more about what they do at Larifa, and you'll get an opportunity to ask more questions and be in touch with her. I see a lot of things going on in the chat, so that's wonderful. Elder Cruz says they don't speak English, but if you would like to come on the mic, and I'm
I can
not sure what
translate
language you
if
speak, but
Elder
you might
wants to
find someone
say
here
something.
that speaks.
Elder,
Yeah,
Elder,
there
si
might,
quieres
yes,
decir
I
algo, yo
think,
puedo traducirlo.
there you go.
Okay.
Maybe not. Okay.
Okay.
Let's see.
So, Elder, si quieres decir algo, puedo ayudarte a traducirlo. Otherwise, I would love to connect with Priyanka and Bone to talk about and exchange different perspectives. I think it's very, very important to start connecting with this other way of seeing chocolate. And I think it's very, very important also to be able to connect with very, very passionate people. And I'm super, super happy to be able to share this personal experience with you guys. If you want anything, if I can help you with anything, I would love to. Thank you so much, Ms. Andel and Teresa, for having me here. It's amazing to see how much cacao touches people and how interested and passionate people you can find in this path. So I think it's great.
Monica, Elder did
Thank
some
you, Monica.
chat.
I'm going
Can you look
Mrs.
at
Balu, would,
my connections.
Okay, let's see. Elder is just hearing all the experiences. He doesn't have any questions, but we will stay in touch with you, Elder, if you want. Si quieres platicar, Elder, pues estamos en contacto en el chat. Muchas gracias por participar. Elder doesn't have any questions. I'm just doing the translation here for some reason.
perfect. If you all want to stay for a few more minutes, anybody, since we have Mrs. Balu, Miss, kind of Cocoa Town here represented. Anybody have any questions in regards to Cocoa Town, or here's your chance to talk to the founder and creator of Cocoa Town.
Can I? My question
Please.
is to Mr. Balu.
Go ahead.
Hello, Ms. Balu. I recently purchased a semi-automated tempering machine. I rather would call it as a melting machine itself, because they told us it's a melting machine, not a tempering machine. So I was very much keen on taking up a tempering machine. So you have a design or a module which is a fully automated or semi-automated tempering machine, which actually does the half work or tempering process, because I do by hand temper method, and it's becoming tedious for me day by day.
Yeah, see, we are not in the making tempering machines at present, because we started the bean to bar, because tempering machine existed before we came into the industry. A lot of different people are making it. So we are right now focusing on the steps before tempering. So, but if you want, there are some, tempering machines are good for the bean to bar chocolate because most of the tempering machines are made for the confectionery chocolate. But if you
Exactly.
want, we can get some, you can put the question and we can put it on the Facebook and get people's recommendation based on their
Okay.
experience. We can help you that way.
Okay, okay. So you said before the tempering process, you are into making of the machine. So what exactly are they conching and other kind of a machines? The
Yeah,
grinders?
yeah. It starts with the roasting. We have the roaster. We have a cooling tray because of the fat content. You have to cool the beans immediately to stop, to get the right flavors. Then we have the cracker to crack the beans, and then vinegar to
Vinegar.
separate the husk, and then the pre-grinder for the small scale. And then we
Okay,
have the grinding, crunching happens in the same machine in ours. And
okay,
we have in different levels, anywhere from 100 grams to 100, like a 90 kilos.
okay, okay. So it starts from 2 kg capacity.
Actually, the smallest you can make with our machine is 100 grams of chocolate, sorry, 500 grams of chocolate, half a kilo
Oh,
for
wow.
recipe
Okay,
testing. And then the biggest machine is 90 kilos.
okay, okay. Yeah, all right. So I shall drop a mail to you. If you could just furnish me the details, I'll just go through that.
Sure.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Miss Monica, are you there?
Sorry, I forgot my mic was off. Yeah, I heard in the chat that Elder was just telling all of us that he's from Oaxaca, Mexico, and he knows La Rifa. It's a good proposal. Sometimes it's very hard to be an entrepreneur in this market where the standards are super high quality, but not high, but not exactly high quality. Sometimes people do not value the work that it takes to make good chocolate with well-managed cacao. Elder's chocolates brand, it's called Chicolate, and he is a very new, is half a year in this project. So, Elder, muchas gracias por compartir con nosotros un poco. Les traduje lo que nos escribiste en el chat. Y sí, desafortunadamente a veces es complicado empezar a trabajar con el cacao, pero creo que debemos aprovechar que hay mucha gente interesada en el chocolate y en empezar a tomar cacao. Entonces, apelar a la memoria tradicional de nosotros los mexicanos creo que es la mejor opción. Sorry, I was just like trying to say in Spanish a little bit of what we have been talking to during this session about trying to educate people. And we all know how hard this market is, how hard it is to be an entrepreneur, and how hard it is to make people break the idea of candy chocolate that the industry has put in us. So thank you so much, guys, for having me and La Rifa here in this webinar with you. And I'm more than happy to share all these experiences and know these amazing people. Thank you so much, Ms. Andal, Teresa, and all the Cocoa Town family. We just love you guys. You know that.
Yeah, see, being an entrepreneur, like
Thank you.
everybody is saying, it's not easy. Like when we started in 2009, 6, started selling machines for chocolate, people asked, what's your market? There are only 5 people making chocolate. Why are you spending so much R&D in developing machines? But we said, we always wanted to be innovative. We wanted to be an industry leader. We said, yes, right now there are only 5, but we want to see how we can empower the farmers. That was one of our main objectives. And we are glad after 14 years, now we have machines in 100 countries and we are touching so many cocoa farmers. And because most of our customers who were bean to bar chocolate makers, they naturally pay more to the cocoa farmers than what the big companies pay. So that way it also makes it, farming more sustainable. So don't lose hope. Yes, in the beginning, it's going to be hard. You have to educate one person at a time. But soon, with the social media also, when compared to 2006, now the social media and the Zoom platform and all those things are helping to connect people faster. So don't give up, keep the hope alive. you will be successful because whoever is in the chocolate industry, they have a passion. They are here on a mission to help farmers to make a healthy food for their customers. So I think collectively we will all be successful. So I'm looking for a more healthier and more successful 2021.
Thank you, Mrs. Balu.
Thanks,
I
Sandal.
just, I wanted to
Thank you.
share, yeah, I wanted to share, since everyone got a chance to talk about themselves and tell about and what they do. I just want to share a little bit about myself really quick, and maybe it will help give some hope. Um, I work for Cocoa Town, and it started out of a love for fine foods. They were set up at a farmer's market, and they were showing their machines and cocoa beans, and I'd never seen a cocoa bean. All I knew was Hershey's, Toblerone, commercial chocolate. And I know that's okay, but being a foodie, I was excited, and it just a passion grew. And they actually didn't have a position right away. And I kept coming back and knocking at the door because I had this great love for fine food. And so for all of you that make chocolate or are starting in the business or been in the business, your customers are out there. I'm your customer. I love what you're doing. I work for the machine manufacturers, but I'm also a chocolate enthusiast. I just adore bean to bar chocolate, I would say, and I love knowing where my food comes from. So there is a group of people out there in the world that want to know, where does their food come from? They want to experience fine foods. They want to, I don't know, it's become sort of like a cult following for me. I love tasting the different chocolates, the different origins. It's like craft beer or wine in the United States. You know, VC, my friends kind of make fun of me, but when I taste chocolate, my eyes roll in the back of my head. I slurp in air so I can find every little nuance, every flavor. I want to know what you're doing, how you're doing it. I love fermentation webinars. I love hearing about Lavardo beans. I love learning about the health benefits of cacao. So we're out there. Your groupies, your fans, the lovers of what you do are out there. And if you find one of us and you appeal to one of us, that one of us will go out and tell the world, and that'll become two of us. And then you'll have two out in the world, and that'll become three, and that'll become 10, and that'll become hundreds and thousands of people that will be your fans and hopefully keep you doing what you love. So y'all are out there doing what you love, and there's those of us out here with our arms open, ready to receive and just gobble up the gifts of what you're putting out in the world. So thank you all so much, and thank you for joining us today. This has been, I think, a wonderful experience for me, and I hope for all of you. So thank you.
Anybody else want to add anything?
This is an amazing platform, and you made a very, I have a fresh pod got just from my farmer. I'm so excited and so happy that we are connected over this virtual meet, and extremely thankful to you and your team, Mrs. Balu. You made a great attempt to connect us and join us all together. Very thankful, very thankful. Thank you so much.
All right, Mrs. Balu, I will let you have the last word.
Thank you, Ms. Teresa. You've been great.
Oh, my
So,
pleasure.
have the rest of the holiday season, have a festive holiday season. We wish you all a healthy, happy, peaceful, prosperous new year. We will see you in the new year with more webinars. Thank you all for joining and giving your
Thank you
time.
so much. Wish you all the same. Have a very great new year and a healthy new year. Everyone, take care of yourself. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, everyone.
Balu. Convey a thanks to
Thank
Mr.
you so
Balu.
much. Bye-bye,
Thank
guys.
you, Monica. Looking forward to get
Thank you.
connected to you over the WhatsApp. Thank you.
Anytime, guys. Let's stay
Thank you.
connected. Bye-bye.
Right.
Bye.
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 Gracias, Mónica.